Okay, well, I'll start with a funny story with Michael, John Michael. Uh, we lived in Maybank in old Andrew Gibbs' house, and I went out the back, and there I see Michael tied up to the fence post, screaming, "Help, help me." Well, his older brothers had tied him up to the fence post and left him. They told him for the wolves to eat. I somehow managed to save my little brother. See, see, who do I start with next?
Now let's start at the top so you don't skip nobody.
What?
Start at the top so you don't skip nobody.
Well, I don't really have a funny story about Dolores or Linda because they were both gone, married, started families of their own when I was growing up. So I grew up with all these boys, and I'm sure there's a lot of funny stories, but one is I was raised with all these boys, and one day Ricky kicked me between my legs, and I ran into the house and I told Mama that Ricky had kicked me in the nuts. Well, she was laughing so hard, but to my surprise, I found out I didn't have any nuts that day. Thank God. Anyways, yeah, that was one good story. So with Lonnie, I'm sure there's a lot of funny stories. The one funny story I remember about him is my little daughter Heather.
You did good. Yeah.
Lonnie was working on the car, and she went up to him, and he said, "Come get Uncle Lonnie a hug," and he had greasy hands. She said, "No, you greasy." And so ever since then, Lonnie always called her greasy. And let's see, that's Lonnie, Charlie. Well, I got Ricky already. Michael. Funny story about Charlie. I don't know. It's not really a funny story, but we were driving. I was living with him in Irving when I was pregnant with Shannon, but we were driving to the lake to see Mom, and Charlie had some road rage going on. Some guy got on our tail end, and he just told me, "Mary, hand me that Coke bottle back there from the back seat." And he threw a Coke bottle at that guy, but it's not really funny. But anyways, it's a story. And anyways, Lloyd, it was not a funny story either, but we were playing hide and go seek one time, and we had an old refrigerator on the back porch, and Lloyd had hid in it, and so I found him in it. So the next time we hid, I thought I'd be a smart aleck and hide in there too. Well, the door shut on me. I was screaming to my lungs, and I just knew it was in, but my brother Lloyd saved me that day from probably a terrible death. So thank God for that. And Floyd was always doing something funny, but I just love him and miss him. I can't really think of any funny thing right now that he did.
Everything he did was
Yeah.
comical.
Yeah, he was always joking around and stuff. And anyways, really miss him. And James, I don't really remember a whole lot of funny. I know I used to do his laundry when I was a teenager. He'd ask me to do it, and give me some Coke money or whatever. But one time he got mad at me, or I got mad at him. I moped around, and finally he came up to me and said, "Mary, will you do my laundry?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do your laundry." So I was always helping him out with that. Okay, what else was I supposed to do? Funny stories?
Favorite niece.
Huh?
Favorite niece.
My favorite niece? Well, it's got to be Jennifer, because she is just really loving, and she's so family oriented, and she puts all this stuff together, and she loves her family, and we love her too. That's all, folks.